Stop spamming low, you fucking ugly losers. God damn it, man. Well, hello, beautiful people. And I just want to clarify, I'm only addressing this greeting to people who were not spamming low. People who were spamming low, fuck you.
You still have a special place in my heart.
Hello. I have a bit of a headache, actually. But that's okay. It's not too bad. More importantly, chat, do you guys know what I was doing yesterday? Balatro? Oh, I wish it had been Balatro, man. Oh, buddy. I played some fucking League of Legends.
Humans are the same, except we call that light hope.
Dude, it was kind of cooked. It was kind of cooked, man. Anyways, I got 2 firsts. Pog. Arena is fine though. Arena is really fun, man. It's actually so fun. Which is a bad sign, man. I'm enjoying League of Legends. And I didn't even mold. Like, okay. This game, alright? I had like almost double the damage of my Ezreal. Went 8th. And I didn't even mold. I didn't even mold. Are you guys proud of me? No. You played League. Okay, that's a good point, actually. Dude. This one was a banger, man. 116k damage dealt. How long did you play? I mean, I played, what, 6 games?
Instead of
7 games? 7
to
games.
the heavens, God should broaden their horizons in the world below.
That's an Arlecchino normal attack, true. This one was just tragic, man. This game was, like, actually sad for everyone else. Dude, I got a reverberation, and my augments were insane. I got lightning strikes, scope your weapons, light them up. And I got gore drink, which is like whatever, but still. $19-2, yeah, $19-2. You see the new game mode leakers? Not yet. Haven't seen any of that yet. We'll look at that today though, don't you worry about that. But not immediately. Also, okay, chat. So I think the universe might be telling me that I should just give up. Because here's the thing, okay? After stream yesterday, I was like, you know what? I've been procrastinating for too long. I haven't gone running in a long time. I'll go for a run. And so I went for a run. And the cops stopped me for jaywalking, man. Like,
Burn it down. Final warning. Control breathing. On my mark. Light of the blazing sun. Turn. Yeah. Control.
Why didn't it kill? Wait, is there something wrong with my builds? It usually always kills. Yeah, there is. Alright, Pog. That's why. Jaywalking is an offense in Canada too, apparently.
Justice will prevail. Let's move. Breath from the sky. Full throttle. Hey. Yeah. Running late again.
It would appear it is. Oh, wait, that's pre-locked. Okay. For goblets, I only pre-lock attack, animo, and electro. If it's electro, pause. I sent it to Nick fucking frame 1. Okay, give me ER. ER. Yeah. Okay, just don't roll into EM. Okay. I kind of can't be bothered. I'll just use more Mora for it. It is what it is, man. Right. Not bad. Low roll, but it's fine. Crit. Take those. That's a max roll. Crit. Fuck. Still, I'll take that. Not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty good, yeah. 6 roll onset. Yeah, 6 roll onset is pretty fucking good.
Stronger. Start pyroclastic surge. Justice o'clock. Hurry up, Brassa.
The problem is I don't have that many good pieces, and they're all in Versa.
You asked for it. Quick as a flash. Let's
Use it as an off piece just to be a dick. Wait, that's actually a bagger idea. I think it's a bit worse than my current Chow Goblet. My current goblet is it an 8 roller or a 7 roller? It's a VV1. Yeah, it's a 7 roller. This one's a little bit worse, but it's not even that much worse, honestly. Yeah, if that was an electro goblet instead, I'd be much happier though, but it is what it is. Although, even if it was an electro goblet, it would barely be an upgrade over what I have because of the crafted, the crafted one. It's a 5 roller, so a 6 roller would be a small upgrade. There's an exercise redeem I didn't see earlier. I don't want to do curls today. Big. If the leads that the new endgame gives Elixir are true, crafting stuff is going to become easier. But you're still capped at 1 of each artifact set per patch, aren't you? Just get a good artifact on the first attempt. I'll do that. But there's also the fact that, like, I can't craft a goblet and a sands, you know? Like, I wish I could craft a sands on this set without having to wait a batch. But I can't. Hello, could you...
Add Astra. Thank you for
Do the event? What event?
add Astra.
If you mean the, like, co-op event, I've already done it. Or do you mean exploding population? Should we take a look at the leakers? New Abyss deep test details. Ugh. There are protocols 1 to 6, and the enemies are all world bosses. About the challenge time limit, 2-minute countdown for each lane. About the challenge conditions. 1 to 4, a character can use 3 lanes at the same time and can challenge with friends. Protocols 5 and 6. A character cannot use 3 lanes at the same time. That is, a total of 12 different characters are required for the 3 lanes, and cannot challenge in a team. About the challenge rewards. Rough Stone and Consecrated Frost. What are those? Primos and elixirs, I see. Treat the deep disinformation rationally. Okay. So basically, there's no new information here. Cool. Co-op is new? Yeah, but it's co-op for floor 9. Like, okay, dude. Sick, man. Can't wait. There's a better translation in the comments, but why do I need a better translation? When we already understand what?
My parents always say, no matter how busy life gets, you should always sit down and enjoy a proper meal when you get hungry. What I like to do?
Okay, use business.
Stack my plate up high, then squash it all down. Take a deep breath, and wolf it down in one go. That way, I can go without wasting too much time.
Wait. Yo, chat, what we doing now? I'm not sure. I gotta think for a second. Should we watch Jamie's latest video? How strong does this cookie need to be? Freeze versus melt.
Hey guys, so Genshin just
Oh my god, he guys this. That's crazy.
teased Escoffier in their 5.6 preview livestream, and like many of you, I've been highly anticipating a sort of Freeze Chevreuse, Freeze Nilu for like a year now, and that's basically what she is. In fact, this whole livestream segment was very much filled with Escoffier glaze. And honestly, normally they don't usually get too technical in these, but as you can see, they do emphasize how powerful her kit is for freeze teams in particular. The greater the number of Hydro and Cryo characters in the party, the greater the res reduction. They also emphasize her sub DPS damage that to me looks basically just like Emily's skill, except this one actually moves with you, so it looks a bit better. Damage wise, who knows, but they do emphasize she does good sub DPS damage. And lastly, they emphasized her team wide healing on her burst, which gives obvious synergy with Farina in these freeze teams. Now, I don't know how many of you caught it though, but honestly, this healing doesn't look that great in the live stream. The healing to your active character looked very nice, but the team-wide healing, like in the live stream, the healing to your active character looked very... Honestly, this healing doesn't look that great in the live stream. The healing to your active character looked very nice, but the team-wide healing, like Xingqiu doesn't have that much HP. Probably has like 17,000 and it is barely even moving. Anyway, overall, she...
The team-wide healing is Farina procs there. that's the Farina procs. Of course it's barely moving.
He seems to be doing very similar stuff to Chevrolet. And yeah, with teams like this or teams like this, we all know how much Chevrolet did to strengthen Electro DPSs. So my expectations are high. Anyway, as always, since I don't cover leaks, it's always challenging to think about what types of videos to make with these new characters. But I had a pretty fun idea, which was how can she impact the current cryo roster? There's 4 limited cryo DPSs. Eula's a physical DPS, she doesn't really count. So there's basically 3. And out of the 3, only Ayaka is really known for freeze teams, at least strength-wise. So Escoffier seems like an obvious fit with her. For example, if you look at Ayaka teams, it's so obvious if you look at this team here. Escoffier is a healer and a buffer and scales with a bunch of Hydro and Cryo teammates, so she obviously...
This is peak porn acting. It's not though, Jamie actually doesn't look at League.
Should fit in a team like this. Or if you also want to look at it, there was this old Ayaka team which uses Charlotte, and Charlotte does provide TTDS for Ayaka, but she doesn't really do anything else apart from healing, whereas Escoffier brings healing, sub DPS, and a bit of shred, so I'm assuming she should be just an upgraded team like that. Anyway, but that's Ayaka. What about the melt DPSs Garnu and Risley? So I thought it'd be fun theory crafting to basically work backwards. And by that I mean, I have some Risley calcs I've done, I have some Garnu calcs I did ages ago, and I'm really curious. Let's calculate how much damage these guys lose by not melting, and then sort of seeing how much buffs Escoffier teams need to bring to make it comparable. Obviously, I will just be looking at personal damage, which means even after comparing the main DPS damage...
I mean, I feel like you can't just look at personal damage, though. Because, like, one of the major upsides of freeze teams is that since you're not relying on having a specific aura and trigger, you get to actually have your characters do the damage they're supposed to do. You know? Like, you look at Yelan and Farina damage in a Risley team, and it's a lot, you know? Anyway.
There can still be sub DPS damage, which can make the teams overall stronger, but it's impossible for me to consider that at the moment. It's more viable for me to just look at the personal damage of Risley and Garnu. Okay, so I have these Risley calcs here. You might remember this from my Risley rerun video. And for example, he's starting at 900,000 damage. At C0 with his signature weapon, the exact numbers don't matter. But this is a melt team where he's getting melt multipliers, he's getting EM multipliers, he's getting Bennett buffs, he's getting a lot of buffs here. And the cool thing is seeing, let's just see how much this DPR drops by removing each buff. For example, if we remove Bennett's buff and Pyro Res, Jesus, we lost like 350,000 damage. If you remove Shilona's buff and probably her Res Shred as well, what was it? You're losing like 250k damage, something like that. And I think by the end of it, after I stripped most of the stuff down, I got like Risley doing a third of his damage. You're removing all the buffs. But then, you know, we have to rebuild it. We have to see what kinds of stuff are we going to have in a freeze team. For example, first of all, because we're not doing any reactions on him, I can give an attack stance back that raises the damage a bit. Also, whether it's Farina or Escoffier or whoever, a lot of his teammates probably do skill damage, which means I can get an extra 20% attack from tenacity. Then we look at the Farina buff. I'm assuming a lot of people are going to play Farina in these teams, but the thing is, like we alluded to earlier, I don't know how good Escoffier's healing is going to be, so I can't really assume the max Farina buff. But just for argument's sake, I can do 50% damage average buff, plus maybe some Yelan buffs, maybe Cryo Res, but there is a possibility you don't get Cryo Res if you're playing him in a triple Hydro team. Anyway, after we do all those buffs before Escoffier, you can see his damage.
How much is pretty good? So her base healing on the burst initial pump is basically 300% plus 2k. Right. 292.5%. 2193. And her total attack in pretty much any non-Shenhe team is going to be relatively high. Even if you look at like relatively low attack from the fact you're using deathmatch, right? You go attack Goblet, you get TOM. You get substats. You get deathmatch. Right, so even in that like relatively bad case with low fanfare, because what size of fanfare is using the burst, so the burst itself won't benefit from that much healing bonus. Let's say like 5% healing bonus. She's still healing for like 10k on the burst to the whole team. Right, and after that, 138.24. 38.24% of her attack times, at this point you'll have a lot of fanfare because you have used your ult. You're ticking for like over 4k. You got 10k AoE healing and then 4k healing every second for 9 seconds to your active character. And that's assuming you're using Deathmatch, which is a very low base attack weapon. You're using, like, personally, my Escoffier is going to be using Jadewing Spear. I'm going to be healing for like 11k and like almost 5k. Technically, I'd also have one stack of Jadewing Spear, but whatever. Her healing's pretty good.
You can see I'm still doing only a bit more than a half of his damage in Melt. Less than 500k, you know, and
I heard Homa was... Yeah, Homa's probably better than Jadewing Spear, but I don't have Homa, so I... Yeah. Yo.
Changing the buffs doesn't actually matter that much. Like, if I change Farina's average buff to 60%, which is not realistic at all, it only slightly increases the damage, so we don't get...
That is very realistic. What do you mean not realistic at all, Jamie? If anything, 60% might be a little low in a Risley team. He's live right now, sneak him a call. I mean, the reason why I know these things is because I look at the numbers and he doesn't, because they're not officially announced yet, so there's no point. But yeah, like, he's assuming things based off of the footage they gave us. But the footage they gave us, I'm pretty sure, was using an unbuilt Escoffier, because the healing didn't look right.
Get too worked up about that. Anyway, the biggest question is, how much res reduction are we actually getting here for Escoffier? The greater the number of Hydra and Cryo teammates, the greater the res reduction. Now, if we look at recent characters like Chevreuse, she gives 40% res shred. There's Shilonen giving 36. And also, let's not forget, there is Silali. He only gives 20%. The thing is, it actually doesn't matter too much. Because, look, if I say it's like 20%, I gain like 5% damage. If she gets 30 resistance shred, I gain like 2% extra damage there. If it's 40, A bit more, still nowhere near melt. And just for argument's sake, let's say there's a world where Escoffier gives 70% cryo resistance shred. Even if he is doing that, if you compare the damage, I'm still missing like a quarter of Risley's damage. So the thing is, like, even if I get ridiculous, like I've got Farina buffs here, I've got some cryo res, some attack buffs, and even if I juice up that resistance shred to massive amounts, ridiculous amounts, I'm still never gonna get anywhere near Risley's damage in a melt team. Let's just say somewhere in these teams, Risley gets a 50% attack buff. Let's add an extra 50% attack. And that's still nowhere near. So I don't see any universe where Risley is doing more damage in these teams. But obviously, we haven't considered sub DPS damage yet. Anyway, let's move on to Garnu. Now, Garnu can play with the same supports. Very similar teams, Shilone and Xiangling, Bennett, something like that. As you can get a lot of melts. And yeah, so with this calc, I'm starting off.
Does Risley trigger Shatter for frozen enemies? I think his charge attack does. His charge attack is blunt, right?
Off at like 1.17 million damage, and what we're going to do is slowly start removing stuff. Just by removing the melts, the damage is already half. The thing with Garni, she might be a bit more restrictive to Risley, so if you're building a freeze team with her, Risley you can play Yelan or even Xingqiu if you want, but Garni doesn't use normal attacks, you can't really do that, so you have to play Farina. But that means if you're playing Farina, you could probably use Marechaussee Hunter. So in the melt team, I was using Wanderer's Troop. In the free team, you could probably use this. Okay, so if I switched it out and I didn't jank up my sheet, the damage is coming back. But again, we have to lose Bennett's buffs. Bennett gives a lot of attack. But let's start adding in Farina's buff. I'm not going to do an average. Again, we can't really get into anything more detailed than that. Obviously, if you're trying to do a more precise calc, you wouldn't just average Farina's buffs. You would do it like, you would track it over time. It might rise from 30% at like the start of your damage window to like, I don't know, 60% after that. But we're working with a rough calc. It's not too big of a deal. And yeah, let's give another tenacity buff. So what are we working with before we factor in Shenhe's quills? 66% of Garnu's damage. Now the interesting thing about Garnu is that in melt teams, unless you're playing her with Mawika, you're probably using Garnu's burst in melt teams, but not all of this melts. Which means the biggest advantage Garnu has over Risley is that all of her skills and her charge attacks you're melting ideally, but in a melt team your burst is kind of like a throwaway. But in a free team you're getting a way more damage from her burst because you're benefiting from all the buffs rather than just a few of them melting. Now this is where things can get a bit more complicated. If you want to factor in Shenhe gives quite a lot of small buffs. Resistance shred here, cryo resistance shred, cryo damage bonus, some more cryo damage bonus, and her quills. So going back to the Risley calc, I plugged in Shenhe's quills and her damage buffs and the res shred, and it boosted damage quite a bit. I mean, obviously this is still very generous. Now it's hard to say like how things are going to work out if you're going to use Shenhe's hold or her press, because each of them have different cooldowns. The hold is a slightly longer cooldown, but it
okay, unironically, chat. I feel like the optimal way to play Risley in a team with Shenhe, if you want to use him with Shenhe, might be to tap E, go to Risley, and then swap out of Risley early to get a second tap E. And then back to Risley with an unenhanced, with like non-skilled normal attacks. I think that's probably the best way to play. Just above Escoffier more, yeah. Because, like, if you spend 10 seconds of field, like, if you go directly from Shenhe to Risley... Okay, actually... Does anyone in chat have Shenhe and Risley on their account so I can test stuff? That would be willing to lend me their account. Menarg, okay. Menarg you can send me, or Akari, actually. Akari said you can send me a DM.
There's a lot that goes into managing an orchard. Watering, weeding, fertilizing the soil, making sure the temperature is right. But most important, you have to keep the fruit in a good mood.
By the way, Akari, I'm noticing there's some weird formatting in what you sent. Is that accidental because that's intentional? Okay, cool. Alright. Noted. Noted. What region are you again? I forgot. EU. Okay, EU. Bro has a password with different fonts now. It's because Discord, like, when you use certain symbols on Discord are, like, shortcuts to formatting changes. So sometimes people send me their password and there's weird formatting in it because their password has symbols in it. Same team on that account, yes. Based. Okay. So by default, if you do Shenhe's skill, it definitely does seem too slow. What if we do 2? Oops. Okay, so it seems like you'll be able to do 2 and 5C into 1 and 3C, I think. Oh. I don't want to talk about that. My E was not off cooldown. Yeah. More or less. Do we have any waypoints? Yo. Put the... I should have kept Veresa on the team, man. There's no attack speed on this, right? Alright. So yeah, first, just want to check that with hit lag it's still true. Yeah. It might not be exactly... I forgot to put a waypoint down. Ah, shit. I'm an idiot. I gotta fucking drop aggro. So I can put it down. Why can't you put a waypoint down in combat? It's so stupid. Alright. Okay. It does seem like you pretty much have time to do the whole thing. Okay. What about looking at a full rotation? Let me try something.
Manifest! Cryo incarnate! Strike a pose! Let the world come alive!
A bitter pill to swallow. Seems like an emergency. Stay cool. Face your...
Obey!
Let's begin.
Manifest!
That seems pretty good, yeah. That's definitely the rotation. That is definitely the rotation. Alright. Why not use Shenhe charge skill? Because if you use Shenhe charge skill, the cooldown is 15 seconds, so you can't do 2 in a rotation. Which means you get 7 quills instead of 10. Also, Risley doesn't really do noticeably more damage than Escoffier. So getting the charge attack damage, or the normal and charge attack damage buff instead of the skill buff, doesn't really change much. But yeah, I think this is the rotation you want to do in this team. Where you Shenhe EQ, Farina EQ, Jesus. Escoffier EQ, then Risley Q, then back to Shenhe to get a second set of quills, and then Risley combo, but swap off a little early. I think that's the rotation you do. Yeah. What are the ER requirements like in this team? His name is too long, man. It's gonna eat into the next cell. So we got Risley, Escoffier, Farina, and Shenhe for now. Yeah. Okay, Risley burst cost is 60, right? Yeah. Because the burst is actually worth using in this team. Like, very worth using. Your burst is gonna hit pretty hard, actually. Anyways. So it's 60. Escoffier is 60. Shenhe is 80. Farina is 60. Particles. You get, what, 4 particles on average from Risley? And you battery the... second set of particles from Shenhe? Which is it 2 or 3?
Unleash!
That's 3. So he gets 4-ish from himself, and then another 3 from Shenhe. Then he misses 3 from the other Shenhe E, and he misses 4 from Escoffier. Different element. Farina stuff, Farina particles in a rotation like that, let's say 7. So let's look at 4 caught, 3 non-caught. Then Escoffier catches her own, Shenhe catches her own. Farina catches none. Which leaves us with 10, 11. Yeah. Clear particles. This is... This is definitely a 5 Shenhe team. With High Refine 5... Anyways, you definitely also do Fab Farina. Let's just assume one Fab proc for now from Shenhe. Which gives us 6 here, 8 here, and then 5 for both of these. And this is what your ER requirements look like? What's the first 2 clear particles? This is the assumption I usually use for enemy HP particle drops. Like, this is pretty chill, right? This is achievable through random substats. This is like Torch, or a little bit more substats. This is nothing over 5. And this is a reasonable amount for Shenhe on 5. You'll be able to burst a rotation, but is it worth it? At the cost of having to build 18 ER? Yeah, for sure. Keep in mind, without the burst, you don't have a good way for Risley to use up the first set of quills. Alright, but like this is the two Shenhe tap E's thing. We can take a look at the one Shenhe hold E thing as well. Right? If you're doing a rotation like that, it would probably be like I did a top E like an idiot. I'm gonna have to start over. I forgot the hold.
A bitter pill to swallow.
Oh, that's kind of annoying. Oh my god, I'm blooming.
Taking it
My will embodied by ordinance
a moment, please.
So you do something like this, I guess? Is that 22nd or is that 21? That kind of looked more like 21, honestly. Anyways, for this one, Iska fee is still 4. You get 1 less Shenhe E, but the Shenhe E you get is a hold, which is +1 particle, for a total of 12. Rest is the same. Yeah. So the first thing is like your ER requirements on Risley are significantly higher. 20% more ER, that's rough. You might not always end up using your thing. But we can calc both nonetheless. So base attack, attack percent, flat attack, total attack, damage percent. Yeah. I don't think we really need to separate things. Well, let's separate them, sure. Crit value, crit multiplier, effective attack. No. Yes? Did I miss anything? No. Yeah. Effective attack 1, effective attack 2, MV1, MV2, damage. Also, let me check what happens if I just stop after... Oh, I don't have energy. Cooked.
Take your true form.
Let's begin.
Let me check what happens when I do when I just do 3 and 5 and then swap out.
Mind the side effects. Remember,
Manifest. Cryo incarnate.
now.
Yeah.
Showering you with praise.
So even with that, it's still a little over 20, but it's probably a lot closer to 20. We're gonna aggro him from the fucking blooms, aren't we? Oh, they didn't hit him. Big. Alright. So I guess I don't do an additional N1C at the end. Okay. So we got Risley. Risley. We got Shenhe. Oh, I'm an idiot, aren't I? E attack. Shenhe. And MB. Shenhe. But I need both, don't I? Shenhe 1 and Shenhe 2. Yeah. My god. Annoying as fuck. Whatever. Escoffier and Farina. Base attack on Risley. 311 plus... What weapon do we look at? Flowing Purity? Probably. Widsith? On a freeze team? I guess it might be better than Flowing Purity by a little bit, but... Ugh. Ugh. Fine. Fine. Attack percent. So, attack sands. TOM. 20-ish% from subs. Noblesse. And then... let's look at R5 Widsith. So, it's 20% attack average. Alright. Damage percent for his normal attacks is going to be 46.6 plus 15 from the 2-piece plus 16 average from Widsith. Oh, I forgot the attack percent he gets from his Ascension passive. The problem is you don't get this for the first burst, which is kind of annoying. Let's assume 25% average. Anyways. What else do we have for damage percent? We have Shenhe Crow damage buff. For normal attacks, for now we're looking at the top E1, so we don't have Shenhe normal attack damage buff. We have Farina, let's say 250 average fanfare. Is that it? I think it might be. And then damage resist from the second source. We don't get Maréchaussée 2-piece, but instead we get the 2-piece, or the Shenhe effect, so it's the same amount. Oh. It is what it is, I guess. Crit value, 98.4 base. 62.2, 20 times 6.6. 55.1 from Widsith. 36 times 2 from Maréchaussée. 30 from Crowd Residence. Yes, I did include the damage percent buff from Shenhe. Why is it so much easier to vape on Hu Tao than melt? Because triggering vape with a pyro attack does not necessarily remove the Hydro Aura, but it will always remove the Cryo Aura. Basically, think of it this way. Fire melts ice real quick, but fire evaporates water real slow. I'm going to. See. Alright. Motion value 1 is... Are there any crowd abilities that apply over to you? Nope. There are not. You can technically get a slightly more than 2U Cryo Aura with some swirl shenanigans. Because swirl auras, or the strength of elemental application generated by swirl is kind of finicky and weird. But, yeah. And, yeah. You can get 3U Frozen, yes, but that's not Cryo. But you're right, you can get 3U Frozen. When you trigger freeze, the strength of the frozen aura is going to be twice the lower of the two between the applied element, or between the trigger and the aura. So if you apply 2U Hydro on 2U Cryo, you will end up with more than 2U Frozen. There's going to be, it's not going to be 4U because of tax, right? If you apply 2U Cryo on an enemy, it only ends up with 1.6 Cryo, and by the time you apply 2U Hydro, it probably has a bit less than that, more like 1.5. But then the strength of that aura is going to be 1.5 times 2, so 3. Which is why, against the Swan Knee, when you trigger freeze on it with an ability that's not 1U, you can end up melting Swan Knee, but not breaking the freeze. Even if you triggered melt. Because it wasn't enough to completely consume the frozen aura. It's why Arlecchino against Swan Knee often ends up needing 4 normal attacks to down it if you're doing with Citlali, because the Citlali burst initial hit is 2U. Anyways, so... we have 167. No. 170.3 times 98 plus 95.2 plus 123.5 plus 69.6 times 2 plus 166.7 And we have... No, I can't do it like that. For this one, it's times 3. Times 3. Times 3. But these are times 2. And then we also have the charge attack, which is 260 times 3. Is Freeze Aura really affected by aura attacks? No, but it's indirectly affected. Because the formula that decides the strength of the Freeze Aura looks at the aura you were starting with. And that aura gets affected by attacks. Anyways. Yeah. Then this is 216.24 times 5 plus 72.08. Then Shenhe is 77.6 times 5. So damage is going to be resistance is minus 60, so times 1.3. Yeah. We still don't have Shenhe stuff yet, though. Because Shenhe's attack isn't in there yet. Anyways, Shenhe's next. Now, we had ER requirements at 176, which is doable if you're using Fav with substats alone. But you're probably not going to be able to avoid the crit rate circlet if you want to proc the Fav. So I'll look at double attack main stat. So base 304 plus 565. Attack percent 46.6 plus times 2 plus 28.8 plus TOM plus noblesse plus 30% in substats. Is that it? I suppose that's it. That's kind of tragic, huh? Anyways, damage percent. So she doesn't have the goblet. She doesn't have the Maréchaussée. She doesn't benefit from her own cryo damage buff, but she does benefit from the burst and skill damage buff. She doesn't have a second source, so it's fine. Then for crit, it's 60 base. We don't have a main stat. Probably don't have that many subs, but we do still have quite a few because the main focus is crit rate and ER. So maybe like 16-ish. Yeah. Alright. And then I just need to lock the Shenhe attack cell in this formula. Then motion value, her own quills. And then her actual motion value. 237 times 2 plus 171 plus 56.3 times 12. I hate when it does that. Frick you. Alright. Page. Now we have Escoffier. Where are you, Escoffier? There you are. So, base attack 347, and we will be using... I guess we look at deathmatch for now. Well, is this a torch team? 135 is like reachable in subs, but it's a little annoying. I think it's a deathmatch team, but we'll have to sacrifice some rolls. Anyways, so we have attack sands. We do get the noblesse. We get the TOM. We get about 20% in subs. We get deathmatch. Is the team DPS really higher with TOM on Farina? Yes. Probably significantly so in this team. Yeah. I can't show you how it rolled because I'm on someone else's account right now, but it rolled pretty well. I missed one roll. I got a 6 roll. I got a 6 roller. I got like 5 rolls of crit, 1 roll of attack, and 2 rolls of EM. But I don't even fucking play this dog shit character. So like, I don't even care. It's funny because it makes you pissed off, but it also makes me pissed off, so it's less funny. I guess it's more funny because of that, but whatever. Chow better than Game and Klugi. It's fine. Chow's like the 3rd best plunge carry. I guess Hu Tao can be considered a plunge carry. Chow's like the 4th best plunge carry. Fifth, there's Navia. Oh, that's a good point. Anyways, is there any other sources of attack here? I don't think so. Flat attack. Yo, total attack. Okay. Damage percent. We have Sands. We don't have the Maréchaussée. We don't have the Widsith. We have the 15% buff. Yeah. We have this. Yeah. When we get Golden Troop. What is bro even calking? Risley. We're calking Risley stuff right now. I'm trying to figure out if you want to play Risley Shenhe, if it's better to do 2 Shenhe top E's and swap off of Risley a little early, or 1 Holdy and do the default stuff that most people are doing right now. Anyways. Am I missing any damage percent? I don't think so. Anyways, for this one, we get barely any fanfare and we don't get Golden Troop. Crit value. Okay, this is where we account for the fact that we have higher ER requirements. So let's say we lose 3 rolls of crit for the ER. I think that makes sense. Alright, and then motion value for Escoffier is 85.7 plus 204 times 20 plus 57.1 and 1007.8. Motion value Zajef for this, we get 9 quills on skill and 1 quill on burst. Oh. 15307 HP percent. We go HP goblet. No, we don't actually. Whatever. We have TOM. We have 20-ish% from subs. About 5k flat HP. Damage percent is gonna be. For now, I think we go Hydro Goblet. We get Shenhe 15%. We get average fanfare of like probably around 220. And then 0.7, right? Why? Why does it default to this many digits, man? And then fuck over my formatting. Whatever. Crit value, this is fine, this is fine. You get this. You get no crit from weapon. You do get this. Yeah. Effective attack, or I guess it's effective HP, not effective attack, but whatever. And then motion value is equal to 13.4 plus 1.4 times 5.49 times 13 plus 10.13 times 5 plus 14.09 times 4. Wait, this is too high, isn't it? I forgot. You mail? What the heck? Check-in reward. That's crazy. Whatever.
Strike a pose.
Yeah, it's not 13, it's 12, right? Yeah, it is. 12.53, I think. Whatever. And then we have 8.4. Then the shred here is less. This is 275. What if we go HP Goblet instead? Is it more or is it less? 278. It's ever so slightly more. Okay, cool. Alright, let's take a look at what happens if we slightly change things around here. And we look at the other rotation, which gets a little bit more of this. This is times 3 now, this is times 3 now. Which gets 15% more damage here, but 15% less here, which loses the 15% here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Which loses stats on Risley because of higher ER requirements. We have 20% higher ER requirements. Let's be generous and say you only lose 2 substats because of it. I think that's optimistic, but still. But we also have higher ER requirements on the rest. Escoffier about 10% higher. 147 is too much for deathmatch, man. Unless you go ER stands, but like, nah. So I think it's just a torch angle. No real change to Farina. No real change to Shenhe. I think. What did Farina get that 15% damage from to begin with? Shenhe. Shenhe top skill gives 50% skill and burst damage. Do we have to change to torch though? Let's just assume you get more ER subs. It's 10% more, right? Yeah. Let's say 2 less crit rolls for it. Okay. And that's before even looking at quill changes. This is now 7, and this is gone. This is now 7. This is now 6. Yeah. So it definitely does seem like swapping off early is better. Yeah. Seems like it's noticeably better too. Damn. Tragic. This just in, holy Shenhe still sucks, yeah. But yeah, so it seems like your full rotation is gonna be this. Oh, I don't have burst. Never mind, I can't show it.
Shit, manifest.
Yeah, mind the side effects.
I'm an idiot. I fucking order lolled like a goddamn stupid dumbass.
Health comes first.
Why am I even not starting over?
Obey.
Alright. So, let's show the proper rotation this time. Shenhe skill burst.
Do your master's bidding.
Farina skill dash burst. Escoffier TM skill burst. Risley burst. Shenhe skill. And then Risley. 2 and 5C. And 3C. And then you start over.
Divine. Let my name echo in
If you have high ping, you probably slightly change things. And do QE on Shenhe instead of EQ. So that you have time to consume the quills before they expire. Power him back up. I'm curious about C2R1 damage. Well, we're still fucking using Baiju instead of Escoffier, so that's not... yeah. Like, it's still not gonna be very representative, you know? How we were going. We're a little overcapped, but that's fine. I guess since we're overcapped with this, we might as well use this one. That has a lot more attack percent. And that is perfectly capped. I guess if we use Shilonen, it's gonna be pretty similar. At least on the Risley damage. Right?
Do your master's bidding. Oh, right. Strike a pose. Time to shine. Let engraved names echo.
Stay clean. Face your... Let's begin.
Oh yeah, there is cryo resonance, I forgot. You're right. We are overcapped. I forgot. Oh well. Yeah, the biggest problem is that I don't think this is better than Yelon. But it's probably not that far behind. And if you have vertical investment on Risley, it might be better. So I guess there's that. Anyway, thank you for lending me your account for testing, Akari. I appreciate it. I'll go back to my own. Nick, are you still here? Can I show you the goblet? He might be gone. I think he's gone, chat. Did you watch Jamie's new video? We got sidetracked while watching it. And we decided to look into what Risley's best rotations would be. With Escoffier. You change any of my builds? The only thing I did was ungear Risley for a second and then regear him. I might have regeared him differently than he was geared initially. But I think that's the only stuff I changed. I might have changed weapons too, but I didn't change artifacts on anyone else.
More quills, but you might get more quills overall with the press. At the moment in Rising Garni teams, a lot of people use her hold because it gives an extra 15% damage buff. But for Garni, it still works out because if you use the press, you're going to get more quills, which scale better in a triple cryo team, by the way, because there's more cryo characters to activate all these icy quills. But Garni can benefit from the skill and burst damage here, So there we go. After all that, and yeah, still pretty optimistic assumptions here. I'm getting about 88%.
Wait, what was
damage.
his
Still
assumption for the
pretty
shred here?
optimistic assumptions here. I'm getting about 88% damage.
Was that the
it's
70% shred assumption, or did he change it?
Not bad.
he
Risley,
said
it was quite a bit weaker with Shenhe, and then if you're playing someone like Yelan instead, it's a lot weaker. It basically means, even looking at a very optimistic scenario in a freeze team, I cannot get Garnu and Risley, especially Risley, I cannot get them doing the same amount of damage that they do in a melt team. Again, personal damage. I don't think they will be able to get near the amount of damage they do in a melt team. And that's because, you know, even if there's super strong buffers like Farina, Escoffier, Shenhe, or Yelan, or Lali, whoever you're playing, none of that buff-wise can really compare to getting the melt multipliers, getting Bennett's massive attack buffs, even Shilonen herself, very powerful buffer in melt teams. And yeah, it just can't really compare. But what does that mean? Does that mean it's likely the freeze teams are not going to be as strong as the melt teams? No, because like I said, we did not consider the rest of the team. Even if Risley's damage is a lot worse in a freeze team, or in a melt team, this is where your damage is coming from. Bennett, Shilonen do no damage, so your only damage is coming from Xiangling. You can also play Marika in that role, but her damage is not going to be insane. Whereas, how they were sales pitching Escoffier, she does good sub DPS damage. So you have her damage. You'd have Farina's damage in a freeze team, who should also be getting some nice buffs. And then if you're playing Yelan with Risley, she'd be doing pretty good damage as well.
Yeah.
So
we don't talk about the fact that Escoffier plus Farina's damage is literally more than what Risley gets by himself in a melt team. Yeah, let's keep that to ourselves.
So even if Risley's damage isn't near his melt team's damage, once you add all the sub DPS up, it can still equal a very strong team. Even Shenhe will be contributing a lot of damage, because you could have 3 cryo characters all triggering her quills, which will scale very nicely. So if Risley is losing 300k damage, it's quite likely, even if he is being wheelchaired in like more of a driver role, you'd easily make up that 300k between your sub DPSs. With Garnu, she does more personal damage, but she might not be getting as much sub DPS damage. Plus, you add in the fact that Escoffier is a new character, you know, with all the Natlan power creep, she probably does scale very well with investment. So it might not even be the case where traditionally investing in your hyper carries and making them do as much damage as possible, that might not be able to outweigh all the benefits that you're getting from Escoffier. So overall, like, there's so many possibilities, there's so many different ways this could turn out. So yeah, I thought that was quite a fun exercise. What did we learn? We learned that melt is a very strong reaction, but we also learned that melt doesn't have as much sub DPS and doesn't have the best supports compared to freeze, where, let's be honest, like, they are selling Escoffier so hard in these freeze teams. The synergy should be out of this world. So I'm expecting the teams to be very strong. Just don't expect your character to do as much personal damage as they might have been doing before. Like, for example, in a Risley team like this, they're showing Escoffier, Xingqiu, Lali. Lali's not buffing your Risley, Xingqiu's not really buffing your Risley. So Risley's damage in that team is probably quite bad. And yeah, last word on Ayaka, because she is already played in freeze teams. They're showing off this premium freeze team here: Escoffier, Farina, Ayaka, Shenhe. I expect that team to just be a straight upgrade for Ayaka, except for the fact that Ayaka, her burst can whiff. And a lot of people are very skeptical about how Ayaka will work without Kazu.
Okay, here's the thing though, alright? Do I still have an Ayaka sheet open? I might not. Maybe somewhere in here. One of these 30 sheets is probably an Ayaka one. Oh, that's an Ayaka one. There you go. Completely whiffed burst Ayaka on this team is about as good as Ayaka's current best teams. If the burst literally doesn't hit a single time. So, like, sure, the fact that the burst can whiff can be annoying, but Escoffier is too broken to give a shit.
And for me, it's hard to say how that will really end up. Like I've always said, even though Ayaka is normally very reliant on Kazuha's grouping in order for her burst to actually hit everything, teams are only as strong as Mihoyo lets them be. Although Ayaka is more reliant on grouping than Risley or Ganyu, I could easily see them releasing a bunch of freeze content where that isn't an issue. I mean, we can literally go into the current floor 12 here. As you can see, we now know that the second half is very much tailored for Escoffier. And if you look at all of this, you actually can't really group any of these enemies. So what they could quite easily do is, for the next few patches, they just release ungroupable content, a lot of bossing, and if they are going to do AoE content, it's content where the enemies are already grouped. Like even this top half here, the enemies kind of group themselves, and then you won't notice Ayaka's issues with playing without Kazuha, but they'll sort of like hide the team's issues, and then I think it could work like that. But hopefully you found these calculations interesting. I find it quite interesting, and yeah, look forward to more videos on Escoffier. I'm very excited for her. As you can see, I do play a lot of Cryo characters. I've made loads of videos on Cryo characters. So I'll probably be posting updates once they reveal more information, once the Chinese creators get to test them in their early access videos. And yeah, you guys can look forward to that. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Man. Should we go do our daily peak? Take our mind off of Escoffier balance.
Why me?
Why me?
Be careful! Watch out for low-flying rebels!
You know what?
Why me?
Why me?
Yeah! Look out below! Light it up! Stop right there! Faster! Stronger! Let crash from the sky! It's justice o'clock!
Oh, Mamigo's almost dead.
Oof! It's justice o'clock! Yeah! Headbutt! It's justice o'clock! Yeah! Yeah! Kapow! Finally! Oof! Heads up! You asked for it! Controlled breathing! I'll burn it down! Pyroclastic surge! Hero incoming!
I don't want to burst. I want to keep all my energy.
Headbutt!
Yo. No blue. Okay. Bad day. Bad day. All she does is heal, damage, and shred resistance. I don't get why she's broken. True. Used all the luck on the animal goblet. You're right. You're right. I did. Stall. Yeah, we can do our daily stall. Sure. We stare. We pound. Do we zilch? We zilch. My goodness. What the fuck? Oh, there's a D. I forgot about the D. Weedy. Damn. Outdoor spot to people watch, maybe. When many show up to a job interview. That's... Tesla? Clear. Other. Defensive maneuver and fencing. Very. What the fuck? Usher? Early? I don't know these. At all. Outdoor spot to people watch. The only letter I can think of that would work here is M, but stomp is not a spot to people. What? Storp? Glorp? Huh? What the fuck, man? And then, this is an American thing, probably, right? It's just the name of a company, but it's an American company that I've probably never heard of. So, like, it's random as fuck, and this is the name of a person I don't know. So, like, we're kind of cooked here, honestly. This has to be either O or M, I think. Right, because these are the only words that exist like that. I feel like it can't be M, because then this would have to be a vowel. Because if it's a like, you can't have, like, mneal. Like, that just doesn't work. So it has to be an O. Right? And then O'Neill? But aren't people with the last name O'Neill written like I-E-L, not E-A-L? What else could it be? I feel like it couldn't be anything else. It actually was. That's kind of wild. That's kind of crazy. This was a shit mini, honestly. Dog shit mini. Moving on, man. Awful. We balls. Is it a balls day? It's not a balls day. No balls today. Is it a Risley day? It's not Risley. That's okay. It is a Fontaine character released before Risley. That's from an A, right? Yeah. Everyone has their own desires. To bring together and fulfill those desires and make everyone happy. That is the purpose my Archon has bestowed upon me. So, it has to be someone who's very, I guess, pious would be the right word? Maybe? Or, like, who shows a lot of reverence to their Archon. I don't think it can be a Leia character, because I don't think Zhongli's responsible enough to actively give purpose to people And I don't think people in Leo are delusional enough to make that up. It's definitely not Natlan. Because I feel like no one would refer to Mawika as my Archon. Definitely not Sumeru. Definitely not Fontaine. That leaves Inazuma and Mondstadt. I think the people of Inazuma and the people of Mondstadt are Delulu enough to make that shit up. Is there anyone in Inazuma who's focused on, like, entertainment? Like, Ito's a funny guy, but he's not very pious. And Mondstadt? Barbara? Okay. 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 I'm kinda fucking goated with it, honestly. Is that Kirara? That looks like Kirara's box. Yo. I thought it was like a tango dancer. Not a bald day. Oh, Ratio's a different map. Oops. It's a hunt character released between Bald and Ratio. That should be easy, right? I don't remember it, but if I go through them, I'll probably figure it out. Topaz? Yeah. If anyone out there ever managed to strike a deal as Varog, they'd earn my heartfelt admiration. I feel like this is a red herring. It mentions Varog, so the first like thought you have is Clara, but I don't think Clara would say this kind of thing about Varog. You know? I think it's someone else. It's someone who sees Varog as this antagonist. Like, it's someone who sees Varog as an antagonistic figure. So, like, Sampo. Dude, okay. 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 Alright, dude. I'm kind of goated with it today. What the fuck? Did I do the ability? I didn't. I'm not sure who this is, honestly. Kind of looks like a lightning ability. Yeah, it was. Not a Bende. So it's either Anton or Grace. Cooked. 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 I'll be right back. Cease your widening. It's time to narrow it back down. Guards! You watch this, chat? Zyog's doing Archon tier list and hating Dahlia.
I am Aglaya. Oh, Gomenesai. I'm gaming so hard, comma, and hard while gaming. Stop saying I'm dating Zajef.
This man stole my wife and my dinner! Like, who cares about the dinner, man? Make any decisions that showed that growth.
Hey, I'll show you some growth. Big dong dong. I honestly wish I wasn't a man. As it goes right now, Dahlia is my enemy. I can't be too loud today because twitch.tv/glitter is also streaming. Does she hear me? Ah! You look stunning, queen.
Look
Oh
stunning.
my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna glorp. There's a difference between Venti and Mawika. Now, no disrespect to Mawika,
Why
okay?
is he like
Because she
this,
has some
man?
real shooters. If we're like tier listing Archons, all I'm going to say is that Venti's an S and
Yes.
Mawika isn't. But like, no
I-
disrespect.
I agree. That's a good take, actually. That's a great take. Right? Like, characterization-wise, Venti's the best Archon, and it's not even fucking close. Alright? Rare Zajef77. It really is. Venti really is the best Archon. Farina is? No, she's not.
Because I don't read lore. You are wrong, bro. Venti is the only thing that's bad about Venti is that we haven't seen him in like 4 years. And that he fucking sucks. But also, for what it's worth, Farina's here. And then Zhongli is also cool, but not the same tier. He's Xiao's dad. Then Raiden, can I say something about Raiden? Lore skip or take, mute the stream. I am not a big fan of her writing, okay? I'm not. But I think she's pretty, so she's like I kind of want to put her here too. Does that make sense? Like, even though I think she's not as well written as Zhongli, I think like the what she's contributed to Genshin.
He's implying that Zhongli's not pretty, by the way. Cook him. Put him on the spit roast.
Is actually undeniable. Now, you might be like, bro, you like type, right? Oh, but in the story quest, listen, bro. Do you know how many new players started playing because she pulled out a sword out of her fucking chest? Do you know? Like, that wasn't me. I was already playing. I'm just saying she gave a lot to the community. That's all I'm saying. Oh, Nahida. Oh my god, I forgot about Nahida. Okay, Nahida's goated. Nahida is the only character whose story carried her for me, okay? Because, like, actually, that's not true. But, like, you know me, bro. I have the attention span of a wet ant. But literally, I was like, Sumeru came out. I don't give a fuck about this dumbass radish. I do the quest. She's S tier. Sorry. Although she did give Gnosis to Dottore, so maybe A. But if I'm being honest, then it's probably this. Like, this is, like, objective. This is, like, objective, bro. Capture the point.
Hey, should I do my own, chat? Let's do it. Let's do it. So we got Venti, we got Zhongli, we got Raiden, we got Nahida, we got Farina, and we got Mawika. Alright. So, Venti's the best Archon by far, alright? I'm gonna be honest, Venti's alone in S tier, no one's in A tier, okay? Like, it's not even close how much better of a character Venti is compared to the other Archons. Why not Nahida? Nahida's not a bad character, but she's also... I don't know how to explain this, exactly, but it's like... It feels like her role in the story is a lot more that of a plot device than that of a character. And that's not inherently a bad thing. Like, some characters' purpose in a story is to drive the plot forward in a certain way. But I just find that kind of boring. She's got growing up to do still. Yeah! But we haven't been shown much of it yet, and until that happens, I just I think she's kind of whatever. That's not to say I think she's a poorly written character at all. Honestly, Venti might be the best written character in Genshin, period. He's definitely one of the best ones. Okay, playable character. Yeah, Clothar's written better, but like, buddy. Care Bear don't count, man. Like you know it don't count. Anyways, I wonder how it goes after that. Like I've vocalized my negative thoughts about Farina quite a lot, but I don't think she's a bad character, right? I think she's a little lacking, but Genshin characters often are. And I do think that, like, probably both Farina and Nahida would make it here. She has an amazing characterization. The biggest problem I have with Farina isn't really what her character is supposed to be. It's that the way that the game shows us her characterization, it doesn't convince me that her actions made sense in her situation. Because, like, I'll talk about this one again, right? Like, the way that Hoyo decided to show the reasoning for her decision to act out an arrogant Archon was by having, like, one random guy in a crowd of many people make one offhand comment that was like, is this really, is she really an Archon? Is that really how an Archon acts? And she basically got one guide into 500 years of acting that made her suffer. And, like, they probably wanted to imply that there was actual doubt, but it didn't convince me. They didn't show there was actual doubt. It doesn't make sense to me that you would doubt an Archon just because they're not an asshole. And so it ends up making it feel like her problems are self-imposed, even if that's not what they intend for her character. If it was what they intended, and they built the story around overcoming self-imposed limitations, then that would be a different thing altogether, right? If her story was meant to showcase growth and, like, learning and understanding how basing your personality off of what other people expect of you is unhealthy for you, then that would be a different thing altogether. But that wasn't what the story was about, right? It wasn't about her growing. That the acting was like a trial and tribulation of something that had nothing to do with her actual growth as a character, right? And basically, I don't think it would have been impossible to properly convey that she was acting because she had to sell that she was the Archon, but the way they did it was not convincing at all. And it actually made it look like it was completely self-imposed. Because they didn't give a reason for the people of Fontaine to expect the Archon to be arrogant. And so it didn't make sense to me that the people would give that much of a shit. And because they didn't give a reason for the people to react that way, when they just showed one person saying that, it didn't feel like it was just an example of a person saying that. It felt like she got fucking one guide into making herself suffer for no reason for 500 years. And that feels like an awful way to develop her character. I think they would have needed to show that Agaria was a bitch. Yeah, pretty much, man. Like, give the people of Fontaine a reason to expect their Archon to be a fucking piece of shit. So that it doesn't feel like it's pulled out of nowhere that she decides to act that way to sell the act. But they kind of skip that, and that's something they do often. But, like, the point I'm trying to make is, like, what I have an issue with with Farina's characterization isn't the idea behind the characterization, it's the execution. But the execution was so bad to me that it kind of just ruined it. But even then, I still think she's like the second or third best Archon characterization-wise, right? Like, to me, that's a major problem, and if it wasn't for that problem, she might even be as good as Venti. But even with that major problem, it's still a lot better than Raiden, who has nothing but major problems. What would change if she wasn't arrogant? She would still be lonely and couldn't share the big secret and responsibility. I mean, sure, but if you're a bitch to everyone, people won't like you as much. So you won't be able to build any interpersonal relationships over the years. It's clearly the main reason why she wasn't able to build interpersonal relationships. Can you explain Venti? I've always seen him as a missing founder type. Okay, the idea that Venti doesn't care about his region is so fucking dumb to me. Like, it was explicitly shown to us that he fucking solved the problem with Dvalin. He is the one who fucking did the thing to solve the problem. Like, yeah, we helped, but Venti was there and he carried our ass. Like, he clearly does step in when he's needed. You know, like, did you forget the whole fucking plot of the Archon quest? Like, yeah, he drinks a lot and he has fun, but he also lives in his region, and when there's problems, he fixes them. So, like, in what way is he neglecting Mondstadt? Like, be so for real right now. Are you judging them based on how well the character was written, or how much they helped their nation? How well they're written? But obviously, how much they help their nation can contribute to how well they're written. Like, let's be honest, Nahida was is kind of a worthless Archon in terms of like how much she's helped Sumeru. The only reason she's able to do anything is because of us. It's not her fault, you know. But she's not very useful. But I still think her characterization is pretty good. Anyways, and then okay, how much do I hate Zhongli's characterization? I gotta think about that. The Leo quest was a lot better than the Inazuma quest. But the worst part of the Leo quest was probably Zhongli and his characterization. The thing was, he wanted to step down as an Archon. Yeah, but like, I don't know if I want to get into this one again. I think collaborating with terrorists to test whether the government you're trying to leave behind will be able to handle a crisis is probably not the best way to go about things. Like, it's fine if you want them to solve the problem themselves, but you don't have to go out of your way to help the terrorists, you know? Like, even outside of your capacity as an Archon, you want to live as a resident of Liyue? If a resident of Liyue becomes aware of a terrorist plot, are they gonna keep it to themselves? Like, dude, even outside of your capacity as an Archon, a fucking regular citizen with the information you have would share it. What are you doing? Whatever. My Archon committed 9/11. Dude. Yeah, it's just, to me, Zhongli is portrayed as overconfident and incompetent. Which would be fine if that's what they were going for, but I'm pretty sure that's not what they were going for. Anyways. And then Maoika. Honestly, the biggest problem with Mawika isn't really... Mawika doesn't have a major flaw, she's just boring as fuck. Mary Sue? I don't think Mawika's a Mary Sue at all. Like, she's shown to have suffered quite a bit, and she's not really portrayed as the one that's solving a lot of the problems. Which is kind of just a byproduct of the writing glazing Traveler as much as it does. But, like, let's be honest, Mawika didn't do shit, man. It was all Traveler. She just came along for the ride. Yeah, she was our lift, basically. I think Natlan's crew being boring didn't help make Mawika interesting. Okay, to be honest, I don't know if I agree with Natlan's crew being boring. I think Kenichi and Wolani are kind of unlikable, but they're not really boring. I like Kachina. Shilonen's fine. Yansan's fine. Oron and Seatlali are kind of, yeah. I'll give you that much. And Chaska's also pretty, yeah. Ahau's neat. Ahau is obviously the best one, but oh well. The thing is, Mawika's entire arc was thing after thing happening to her. She had very little autonomy. Yeah, that's a very good point. Oh well. And then yeah, between the remaining two, I mean, I'd say Raiden was ass enough to deserve to be in a tier alone. So it'd probably be something like this. Why is Raiden so low? I just... So, okay. The clear, like, intent for Raiden, like, story-wise, was to have her be an antagonist that ends up redeeming themselves in a way. In a way. Like, people talk about the fucking Raiden story quest being a date and how fucking boring and cringe that is, but above that, if you look at the reason why they made it a date, it's to humanize her and try to portray that she's not truly an antagonist anymore. And the biggest problem that I had was that she was not the redemption arc for her was boring and unconvincing. I wish they actually committed to her being an antagonist instead. Feel the same way about Arlecchino? I half agree with that. I think that the worst part about Arlecchino's story quest is that, I guess spoilers for Arlecchino's story quest, is that the like people that left the House of the Hearth are living happy lives and vibing, basically. I much prefer the portrayal of Arlecchino as an antagonistic force that does not hesitate to do awful things to get to her goals, but who still somewhat cares about the country where she was raised. Like, even if you're a shitty person, it doesn't mean you can't have an attachment to people around you. And so I really liked the portrayal of her as an antagonist that still kind of helps when it comes to matters related to, like, Fontaine fucking getting completely destroyed as a whole. Basically, it's tsundere. That's not how that works, dude. Being a bad person, but still not wanting your country to get fucking genocided, is not... like... That's not... Not all bad people are literal psychopaths. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I liked the portrayal of her as a competent, bad person who wasn't just entirely evil. And I feel like the story quest humanized her too much. Wait, Arlecchino? Yeah. I liked Arlecchino much more before I did the story quest. Like, the way her very presence intimidated Farina so much was so sick. And like, I don't know, man. Aura? Yeah. Arlecchino had fucking aura. And she was competent. And cunning. Anyways. Thoughts on Dottore? I don't have many thoughts on Dottore because he hasn't really been a major part of the story so far. Would. Okay, buddy. Calm down. Okay, so Luna, what the fuck are you yapping about? Not gonna lie, it just kind of sounds like you're upset she became more of a real person and less a step-on-me mommy type of lady. Real people tend not to have aura. What do you mean real people tend not to have aura? It was actually a plot relevant element of her characterization that she has aura. Her just being there made Farina fucking shake in her boots. And before her story quest, it made sense. Because of the way she was portrayed as an actual intimidating character. She was gonna murder her. That was the interpretation that Farina had, right? And that's why she was so scared. But really, we don't know what exactly she was gonna do. She says she was about to kill Farina. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna... Hear me out, okay? I am good at Valorant. See, I've just done something, okay? I've just done something which is called lying. Alright? And I did that with the purpose of trying to make myself look better in your eyes. Now that you have been introduced to the concept of lying, let's examine Arlecchino telling Farina she was gonna kill her, or saying she was gonna kill Farina. Would there ever be a reason for Arlecchino to say she was gonna kill Farina, even if she wasn't? And the answer to that is yes. It makes her look more intimidating. It instills fear and functions as a way to strengthen her negotiating position. It's a threat. Yeah, exactly. Whether she was gonna kill her or not, saying she was gonna kill her is something that helps her achieve her goals. Is it possible that she actually would have killed her? Yeah, it is. But is her saying she was gonna kill her actual confirmation that that's what would have happened? No, it's not. Because people can lie. Also, the point is that even if it was a lie, it was believable. The story quest made it less. So yeah, exactly. That's the point I'm making. That's why I didn't like the story quest. But yeah, like I really, really liked Harlequino as an antagonist. When she was portrayed as ruthless and cunning, and her story quest made her a lot more gray, I guess, which I think is a shame. Like, I feel like there's a difference between giving us the reasoning behind a character's action and trying to convince us that it's reasonable for them to take those actions. And I would have much rather it if they stuck to the former with Arlecchino rather than the latter. It feels like they're trying to convince us that it's fine for her to act the way she does, rather than trying to help us understand why she acts the way she does. And that's what I don't like about her story quest. Would you prefer if she punished or executed the children who broke the rules? Yeah. I was whelmed by most of that quest, but it didn't ruin the character to me. Strongly feel gray characters tend to be better. It depends on the kind of story being told. Solo leveling needs less gray villains, for example. Okay, the thing is, like, the problem, in my eyes, with Genshin's tendency to humanize their antagonists is that it feels like they're trying to make every character the same shade of gray. Like, there's such a wide range of behavior and like how good or evil someone can be, and it feels like every antagonist ends up getting redeemed to be the same. Like, they're doing bad things because they don't know better, or because they're not actually doing really bad things, or like it feels like the gray is too light, basically. Which I guess is a very Hoyo thing to do. What's this tier list? It's Archon characterization tier list. But that's in the context of playable characters. That Sumeru leader bitch Azar has no redeemable qualities. Okay, the thing is, like, yes, Azar is a character that is not portrayed as particularly light gray, but also Azar is an incredibly boring and one-dimensional character. You can have an evil character that's characterized in a complex way. But evil cause bad character that is also a complete fucking idiot and incredibly incompetent is kind of just like, okay, dude. Who would you say is the most evil playable character? Ooh, good question. Like, Child is up there. Siege win, true. Maoika because she murdered the meta. Okay, dude. Is there even a morally gray character? I mean, sure. A lot of characters are morally gray. I think a good example of a character that I think is gray in a somewhat interesting way is like Sarah. Cause like Sarah is the means with which Raiden enforces her fucking bullshit. But the thing is, like, in Sarah's position, she's not the one making the decisions. She's got a literal fucking god telling her to act that way. And it's like, I think it's really interesting to think about the implications of your piety being put into opposition with morality. Sarah believed Raiden's orders were right and just up until the end. Yeah, and I think that's a very interesting way to have an antagonistic character. Like, I'm not saying that she's a good person whatsoever, but I think that it's a character that's gray on the darker side in an actual interesting way. Also, she's barely fucking relevant to the plot, which is, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. But That's just Inazuma moment. Best parts of Inazuma are barely relevant to the plot, and the worst parts are the main fucking thing. Anyways, let's keep watching this. Now that we've made our own.
Objective spawn in 50 seconds. But anyways, it's probably this. I don't know about Mawika yet, bro. It's too early for me to tell, bro. Natlan just came out. I'm just saying she's not captivating me as much so far as like Farina did, okay? That's all I'm saying. Kanich? Yeah, he goes S tier. Even though he did fucking nothing. Admit you hate women? Brother, Farina's literally in the top tier. Nahita's, well, Greater Lord's a woman. Nahita's a kid, but I mean, she's a girl. And then Venti is literally a fucking, like, Venti could be whatever Venti wants. Isn't Venti's true form a glorp? Venti true form. It's like a little glorp. It's like a blue thing. A blorp. Look, bro. This is Venti. Kanich lost to an NPC with a shovel. Do you know? Okay, first of all, watch your fucking mouth. Second of all, that's because, is that true? I don't remember who he lost to. But listen, bro, that's because, okay, listen. That's because Ahau was holding him back, okay? That stupid fucking dragon was nerfing Kanich's power. If I was there next to Kanich, he wouldn't lose. You think they'll show Kaya's grandpa? They will show Dahlia? Bro. Oh. I don't care. If Xiao has no fans, then I am no longer on Earth and I am dead. If Dahlia has no haters, then I am no longer on Earth and I am dead. As it goes right now,
okay,
Dahlia.
I hope Dahlia's fucking broken. Because I think it would be really funny.
Is my enemy. Venti won't be voiced in 5.6.
Dude, imagine if Dahlia ends up being a good support for Xiao. Imagine if Dahlia's attack speed applies to plunges. And it also gives a bunch of plunge damage.
You're talking to Venti's voice actor right here. Listen. Dude, is this guy just Dr. Ratio if he fucked? That cake looks good. Bro, my ass was not looking at the cake. Well, okay. YouTube, but don't open the comment section. We Kaya mains don't ask for much. No, 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 no. Streamers who can sing versus streamers who can't sing. Dahlia reveal, I hope. Bro, I hope not. I hope they keep that ugly motherfucker in his jail cell. What the fuck is Albedo doing on a roof, bro? Why is he aura farming on a roof? Yeah! Get him in jail! He's guilty! Wait, what the hell is happening? Varka? Wait, bro, what the hell is happening? Dude, why is this the first like fucking 0.6 patch that's not a filler?
She gets completely lost.
Dude, she did the shake.
It's HP to the entire party.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, fuck it. So she can red shred
Imagine
damage.
Dahlia increases normal attack level. Wait, you're so right. You're so right.
You're like, fuck it, you might as well give you a massage too. When you use reverse, gain 5 primo gems.
All eyes are on me.
Fuck you, how? Oh. He's Hydro. Wait, that's actually gonna be the first fucking Hydro 4-star we've gotten since Candace. And before Candace, it was like 1991. 4-star Suska? Brother, look at him. Like, I know I look like a 2-star, but if any character has ever been a 4-star, it's Dahlia. The first time I saw Mika, I was like, I'm Mika from the Knights. And I was like, he's a 4-star. And he was a 4-star. Dahlia looks like Mika, but pink. Here's the take. They are giving us so many, like, female 5-stars, right? Boom woman, boom woman, boom woman. And I love them all. But do you know why? Because they're prepping us for Nod Cry. Okay, why? Because we're gonna get Varka, we're gonna get a bunch of like new Sheznayans, right? We're gonna get the Harbingers. We're gonna get fucking Piero. We're gonna get fucking Capitano. We're gonna get fucking Dottore. They're prepping us. They're prepping us for the era that is coming soon. Wait, so what the hell is Kanich doing with Risley, bro? What do they even talk about? You are washed. Capybara? Capybara. Bro, Kanich is edging. You guys want to know something? My hair line is phenomenal. My hair is phenomenal. The only thing is, because it's parted a certain way, and it's thin hair, that area looks, you know, thinner. Hi, first time here. Are you the guy that's blooming? No, that's not me. You have someone else. I'm a guide maker. I'm a cute, not cute, what the fuck? A calm streamer. So if you're watching like without headphones or whatever, that's fine. You don't have to worry. Oh my god, I'm blooming. I miss my wife, 20-year-old British man. What the fuck does that mean? Wait, this is a C5 venti. What the hell does Concerto dal Cielo even mean? Bro, Zaj's teams are so cringe. Well, I'll review the Jeff's Arlecchino, okay? Jade Spear, 4 Whimsy. Okay, Terrible Flower. I mean, Good Feather. That's a good sense. Why do you have an Echo's Goblet? Also, why is it all in attack? I mean, it's good though. It's good. Okay, good. I'd try to get a better flower if I were you. Good ratio though. That flower was bad? No. If you're watching and you have a flower like that, it's good. If you are Zajef77, who's been playing the game since fucking September 2020, and your best flower on Arlecchino has like 30 crit value, hey, back to the mines. That's all.
To the mines we go. To the mines we go. No. This I should keep just in case. This I'll keep as well. Who knows? Alright. 3 flowers. Well, we gotta check how this rolls. Crit? Not bad. Not bad. That's bad. Cooked. Cooked! That's pretty good, but... I don't think it's an upgrade, but who cares? It's a 6-roll goblet. It might be a very small upgrade. Do I keep this? I'll keep it just in case. Do I keep this? No. No shot. Only 2 flowers this time. I love that. Sure. Do I log this? Yeah, why not? This? No. It's not gonna roll better anyways. No. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot more than this. Yeah, that's not enough. What I have is already pretty good. Wow. Cooked. Cooked. So only one useful roll. This is 2 on a 4-liner. Let's see if this rolls well on 4. No. Let's see if this rolls well on 4. No. Let's see if this rolls well on 4. No. See if this rolls well on 4. No. See if this rolls well on 4. No. See if this rolls well on 4. Yes. Fuck. Fuck. That's cooked. I think it's an upgrade though. No, it's not. It's not an upgrade. Man. See if this rolls well on 4. Nope. Let's see if this rolls well on 4. Kinda, but meh. I'd rather just level this one. See if this rolls well on 4. I guess we might as well try our hand at this one. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. You know, man. We're cooked. I'm also kind of curious about this one. I'm not gonna use it, but still. Well, I lost all my Mora. I should have exercised self-control. This was not worth it. Nah, it was worth it. I had fun. Well, that's good to hear, I guess. I'm happy to hear it. Poggers. Yeah, realistically, this is probably an upgrade. I do believe this one. Pretty solid. Yeah. Man. Yeah, the crit rate is a little low, so I feel like we're gonna get unlucky. But whatever. What do we play second side? Same two teams? Should we try to play something different? Kaniche Hyperloop. No. But I can play Kaniche. We will get our Joel on Mawika. What was it that I was using? Eye for War. Right, it was this one. But it wasn't the right. Yeah, it was this. Right? Yeah. More or less. And then. Good enough. Yo. Is my immediate on Deepwood? It's probably not on the right weapon, yeah. Use Earthshaker Man, it's better. Yeah, but does it look as funny as Joel? Nice crit. Oops, I got hit like an idiot. I'm too lazy to pre-stock, man. Oops. I got hit by that because I'm bad at the video game. Anyways, let's Joel it up a little. Oh.
This'll brighten up the place. Teamwork is dreamwork. Light up the blazing sun.
Locked up.
You fucking idiot. Oh my god. It went up instantly. And it went down instantly too. What the fuck?
Target acquired.
Stronger. Let's. You asked for it. Final warning.
Dude. Is it just me or did I crit like 3 times in this whole rotation? Like that's not just me, right? Oh, I'm bad. I have to do this time. I don't have time to set it up properly.
Lazy bear.
That's fine.
Transfixed. Shadow Raven. Black Knight. Final warning. Extract.
Rise with the sun.
Teamwork is strict. Pyroclastic surge.
I got him cornered.
My god. This feels so ass with Ganich, man.
A little ambiance.
Why does he get staggered by Kanich's E, man? Like, whose idea was that?
Everybody stand back.
Burn it down. Light up the blazing sun.
Oh, fuck you. I have to wait, otherwise I'm gonna eat in the air like an idiot. Did I do it in time? I didn't. He's gonna be annoying, isn't he?
Reconstitute. Let's light it up. Teamwork is pyroclastic surge. This'll brighten up the place.
Where the fuck is
Got
Bro?
him cornered.
Oh fuck! I fucked up. I didn't have pyro on him. It's cooked, man.
Light it up.
Oh. Never mind. It's not cooked.
Going in.
Light up the blazing sun.
My Mauika E wasn't going. So I didn't expect to be able to survive. Or to beat it in time.
For the Lord of the Night.
A little ambiance.
Oh, whatever.
Rise with the sun. Full throttle.
Whatever. Alright. Dual blade banner? Wait, what do you mean?
Stronger. Justice will prevail. Stop right.
No rest.
Okay, fuck you. Oh, I'm bad. I thought I'd have time to get my E back so I could EQ, but I didn't.
Quick as a flash. You asked for it. Final warning.
Dying there means you clear slower than Dea? No, I'm pretty sure even with that death plus reset, it was still faster than if I didn't die on Dea.
Everybody stand, burn it down. Wrath from the sky.
I got him cornered.
I'm trying to aim properly so I hit both of them, but it's kind of hard.
This will brighten up the place.
And I feel like my damage is low. Oh, you were right. It is Dull Blade Bennett.
Light up the blazing sun.
Target acquired.
Pyroclastic surge. Everybody stand.
I got him cornered.
A little ambiance. Burn it down. Light up the blazing. Teamwork is strength.
Target acquired. That was a shadow of the past. Mine to command.
Glory to which
Yeah, I was like, something feels a little off here. And each supposed to do 250k. Okay, let's not. This team does not have 250k hits on Bennett, even with a proper build, or 250k hits on Kanishi, even with a proper build on Bennett. Let's calm down a little. There's that too, but oh well. Anyways, let's keep watching this.
That's all I'm saying. Oh shit, he's here. Look, I said your build was good. I said your build was good. I just made fun of your flower. You want to call? No.
Okay, why were you reviewing my Arlecchino? And what did I do to you, huh?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I just because I saw
What
someone.
the fuck have I done to
I
this
saw a
person?
Farina that had Fav and an ER Sand, so I thought of you. And fucking dude, Dahlia looks so 4-star. It's like crazy. He actually looks like the most
You're
4-star.
You're gonna catch some criticisms for that one.
Bro, he has
You're
one
right,
fan.
but-
Literally one fan.
That it's me. I'm the Dahlia fan.
You are not the Dahlia fan, bro. You
It's me.
are not the father.
It's me.
You
Remember
know your birthday's my favorite date?
Lil bro acting like he celebrates my birthday with me. Like okay.
Okay, I don't see you in person, but like I will celebrate, bro. You know I have a box of shit I want to give you, but like we don't hang out, so it's just like in my room.
Whose fault is that?
It's no one's fault, bro. I don't like going outside. It's fucking cringe. Bro, grass is like for the weak. Like if you go outside, that's because your Genshin account's not good enough.
Did you guys know that Nick literally hangs out more with his friends that live many hours away than with me, even though we live 10 minutes away from each
Yeah,
other?
you know why, buddy? Because you don't fucking come. Okay, pause. Go
Because
out.
you're not trying hard enough.
Okay, nah, don't say that, bro.
Which pet do you think is more annoying between Ahau and Sijuan?
Definitely a how. I don't mind Seadrid. I just think she should have been like a 4-star. Why the fuck is your Skyrider level 80? Wait, movement speed increases based. I should run this. Okay, thoughts on my take, which isn't even a take. This is gonna be ultimate clickbait, bro. A new era of Genshin Impact, bro. The days where you go Shilin and Kazuha Bennett everywhere are gone. We're entering the
They
niche
are.
support era.
You're like 3 months behind on this one.
Yeah, but like Escoffier, it was just leaks before, bro. I couldn't talk.
Even before Escoffier.
Well, yeah, Silali,
like,
but
Lolly.
But Silali was just like, she just like, okay, you know, let me tickle you a little bit. Here's like, here's some melt stuff. Here's some melt stuff. Now, oh, freeze,
tickle
bro.
you. Well,
I'm
large.
tall and I'm like large. I don't fit through door frames. I just killed a bat.
There's 2 rules in my world.
Okay.
1, you cannot be rude. Number 2, don't steal my shit. I'm looking directly at you, Mr. Zajef.
Wait, what did I do? I took 5 crystal flies. Were you gonna get them?
What I say? What's rule number 2?
I'm sorry.
What is it?
I'm sorry. Don't
What is it?
steal your stuff and don't be disrespectful. Can we change the rules? Someone in my chat typed in all caps, yeah, good boy. Like, I'm being embarrassed right now. Like, this is not okay. Like, I didn't agree to this. My Chaska's doing no damage, bro. So, what's your
You're both
guys'
level
favorite
1.
part of the 5.6 preview stream?
Albedo.
Mine was,
Albedo.
dude, Albedo was literally
What?
very beautiful, actually. Listen, brother, I don't have no pronouns. You should refer to me by my government name. Nicholas.
You know my middle name, do you?
You have a middle name?
Why is that funny?
Dude, I'm white.
It's so white.
That's fucked up. Wait, is
Yeah.
it only a white thing to have a middle name? Does anyone know, like, Kachina says Japan. When she, like, ults, she says Japan.
You got a problem against Japan?
No, nothing. Obviously not. I literally play weeaboo games. Unlucky flower, unlucky sands, unlucky goblet. Go next.
You know what? Fine. I'll get a good piece right fucking now.
Get it, bro.
And once I do, I'll look down on you because you're a loser and my Shao set is better than yours.
Yo, my Vermilion is better than any Long Night's Oath in the game right now.
They're talking about getting good pieces, but we just hit the lottery, bro.
Oh, what does that mean?
That's an attack circlet. Fine.
So?
Oh, go Minesai. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I guess you
You
could
guys
say I'm
doing
the
well?
alpha
Shut the fuck up.
in this call.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Wait,
You're
yes,
literally
I
the
am.
shortest one out of all 3 of us.
That is true.
You're
No,
literally the shortest one.
no, maybe I'm short, but. Okay, I'm not. But even I don't know why I said maybe I'm short. What the hell? Freudian slip? I'm not even short. Yeah, okay, but Sigmund Freud was just yapping, bro. He was like, "Ooh, you want to fuck your mother and kill your father? I'm Sigmund Freud."
Okay, can
bro.
you like
Listen, bro.
at least keep this at least like PG-15?
Okay, but that's
Please, I'm not
psychology.
asking
Like,
for
you
much.
learn that in school. I may be tall, but it's about mannerisms, okay? It's the energy and the vibe.
Wait, 10 gifted and I mute him? Wait, deal.
No one's gonna give 10 gifted to mute me, bro.
Yo, there's
Yeah.
no fucking way. Are you serious, man?
Yo, I got it too.
Wait, you both got gifted 10?
Bye, Nick!
Alright.
Listen, I main Shao, who has more aura than the characters that both of you main combined.
Ooh, your favorite character is kind of like Jin Woo from Solo Leveling. How amazing! I'm so jealous.
Yeah, get cleared, buddy. What does that guy do? He aura farms.
Okay, Aura Farmer. Okay.
Aura farm?
Alright.
Ooh, my favorite character is fucking Potential Man. Ooh, I'm fucking well ridden. Wow, okay, congrats, buddy. You have good writing. Yeah.
It's a good. It's funny, man. What do you want me to say? It's a funny joke.
No aura. Sorry. Who needs character development when you have aura development? See, I'm like, what's the animal that camouflages? I'm like a gecko, okay? Because,
What?
no, listen.
A chameleon?
Yeah, oh shit. I don't know. Oh, fuck.
Whose first language is English here?
Mine's French.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I will not take Sal slander. He's been through too much.
Hey, see, not true.
Okay, first and very foremost, you be quiet. Like
Okay,
every time
okay.
you talk, you just like make it easier for people to attack Xiao, okay? But like he's
That is
actually a
true.
really well written character, and I feel like
I think it's like the 5th time I watched these clips. True.
every single gacha game
Is
has
he, though?
redemption.
Is he though?
Lore wise?
I think that stories he's involved in don't tend to be very good.
What do you
Xiao?
mean?
His character isn't utilized in an interesting way.
Oh, hell
With
no.
all due
No, bro, you're-
respect, what has
Okay, so
Marissa done?
I don't give a shit about Varesa's
no,
character.
no.
I think she's
Oh,
fun to
okay,
play.
okay,
Nah,
alright.
bro. Dude, the Chasm Archon quest was so good.
It was so bad.
Okay,
No,
not
L.
even the chasm, okay? No. The first of all, his relationship with Zhongli. Second of all, his relationship with all his other Yaksha friends, and the fact
Honestly, I think the rest of this is just the co-op clips. There's no more non-co-op clips, and all right. Today's title? Yeah, I think that was a lie, actually. Classic. Yeah, it do be like that. Alright, let's play some Mel Arlecchino.
never gonna accept his descendants, right?
And then first side, same one team. I usually prefer playing Shangling in this Abyss, but I kind of can't be bothered. I don't think she's geared properly right now, and I don't want to have to deal with that. Although the Mawiga clearly isn't geared properly either, but that's fine. Me when I Joel. Me when I Joel. Alright.
My holy proclamation.
Why do they never miss? Let's light it up. I'm going in. Yeah. We go. Let's light it up. Yeah.
And hope find you. The power of revelation. Absorb.
Everybody stand clear. Animal test. Fulfill our task. You two.
Oh, I fucked up. I think he dodged some of my Siglali stuff.
Overruled. Let's light it up. I'm going in. Show no mercy.
Eh, I don't need to.
Absorption test.
I want to get my ult back. Alright.
Transfixed.
Cool. Seahorse is annoying, but the rest will be fine.
Justice will prevail. Stronger. Start. Rise with the sun. Pyroclastic surf. It's justice o'clock. Yeah. Headbutt. Hi. Boost. Heads up. It's justice o'clock. Kapow. Hi. Control breathing. On. Burn it down. Wrath from the sky. Hero incoming. Yeah. Yeah. Volcano kablam. Yeah. Oof. Charge. Hero incoming. Headbutt.
Okay.
Everybody stand. Absorption test. Get to work. Eat Laline. Eat Papa.
Where's my crit?
Animal test. Overruled. Teamwork is absorption test.
He's gonna dip, isn't he? He didn't dip. He dipped.
Laid bare. Let's light it up. Everybody stand. Fulfill our task. Eat Laline. Eat Pop. Overruled.
Overruled. Bucko. I don't think I one-shot with Joel. I do. Never mind. Oh, fuck. See, Daisy? That was kind of sloppy, but it worked out. You stupid dumbass. Crit mod check? Crit mod check? Oh my god. I crit like one of my melts this chamber? My goodness. 75 crit rate is not enough, man. Fucking hell. Kinda tragic. Alright. I think that's gonna be it for today, honestly. Tomorrow we'll actually do the Chronicled Witch stuff that I wanted to do. But yeah. Honestly, I can't be bothered doing a raid today. I'll just see you guys tomorrow.